How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. I made a video not too long ago about the new character creation we had in this universe online. But obviously I could not cover everything because covering everything would be a huge video that would last an hour or two. And also at the time it was on the test server. Sadly very often when things are on the test server, by the time they get added to the live server, things are quite different. For example, on the test server we could skip to CR 100, not an option we have on the live server. So trying to cover everything and doing a deep dive on the character creation in one video was a pretty huge task. So it was kind of like eating an elephant. But if we break it down into various pieces, we should be able to do it easily enough. So today we will take a look at the new character creation system.
My greatest triumph.
Let's skip the cinematics. I love those cinematics, but for the purpose of those videos, let's skip the cinematics for now. I'm not sure why sometimes we start with the female character, sometimes with the male character. It seems to be a random thing. It doesn't really matter. So we could either customize our character, or we could take a look at the preset inspired by characters. That's what we're going to do today, and let us start with Superman. So basically that is how we are going to eat our elephant. We'll take a look today we'll take a look at Superman, some other day we'll take a look at Batman, some other day we'll take a look at the Cersei, and before we know it, we'll take a look at the whole thing, but in multiple videos. At some point I might make a huge video that contains everything, but today let us start with Superman. Also, the reason I wanted to start with Superman specifically was because right now we do have an official Superman emblem in the game, but sadly after the end of December, that emblem will be gone, so you have to get this emblem today right now while you can, which is why we start with our friend Superman. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the stats of the character, but let us select Superman. So we still have the stats over here, so obviously Superman is a male character. It starts with an athletic body. Here they're using the medium body size. There's basically medium, short, or tall. Normally I do go for medium size by default. I save the tall option for a bigger character, or a short version for a smaller character like let's say Wolverine. For Superman, the medium size seems to work well enough. Obviously on the hero side, for the personality, they went with powerful by default. I would sometimes be tempted to go with the serious personality, but the powerful works well enough, you decide. So obviously the Superman meta origin. For the abilities, they went with ice. Basically they wanted to make it a tank character so that he would have some durability. And I guess they went with ice as an homage to the Superman movies, where you can see Krypton that used to be almost an ice planet, the Fortress of Solitude in the Arctic that is pretty much an ice fortress. So I would guess that that is why they went with ice. But personally, when I first created Superman in DC Universe Online, I did go with fire. Basically, my thinking at the time was that I was trying to sort of recreate Red Sun Superman, and the fire did seem to be appropriate with the theme of the character. Although an option that is often suggested is the Earth Power. The reason for the Earth Power is that it can sort of mimic having super strength, but you do have to purchase the Earth Power, so if you want to play as a free-to-play player, you have to go with either Ice or Fire. If you're willing to purchase a Power, Earth could be a good option. And all the powers I mentioned are tank powers. Ideally, you want to have Superman as a tank, you want him to be durable. But in this case, let us stick with the default mode. Let's stay with Ice. For the weapon, let's go with Brawling. And for the movement, let's go with Flight. Superman does fly. So we've pretty much selected everything we needed. Let's go to next for the appearance. So we can customize the colors of our Superman character. So with the color picker, let's keep this one here. The same for the hairstyle, Superman has black hair. At the eyes, here they went with blue eyes. Technically Superman does have blue eyes, but the color of the eyes also influences the color of the effects in the eyes. So in this case, let us go with red to sort of kind of mimic the heat vision. For the makeup, we don't really need any makeup for Superman. And here we have the color palette for the suit. The blue is a little too dark for my taste. Let's go with this one. The same for the red. And maybe even the yellow. I kind of like to use bright colors. I miss the days when superheroes had bright colors in the comics or in the movies. So we're pretty much done with the appearance. Oh, the hairstyle. The The hairstyle, they're using the texture hairstyle. If you want to recreate the New 52 Superman style, that's what I would use. But I kinda like to go for a more classic looking Superman, so let us go with side part. We don't have a headpiece. For the face piece, we have the emissive eyes by default, so let's keep that. For the emblem, we have the S emblem. I guess we could go for the shield emblem, but let's go with the S emblem. We're going to change it anyway. For the chest, we have the accent pattern slimline by default. Way back when, we did not have a style like this that did not cover the hands, so it's kinda nice to have that. Although it does cover the neck of the character. I guess we could go with the stylish streetwear so that we don't cover the neck of the character, but then we end up with the small S emblem. So let us go back to the accent panel slimline. For the back, they are using the rounded cape. It kind of works well enough, but I would much rather go with the full cape. For the hands, no hands for our Superman. For the waist, they went with the chevron by default. Let's go for the techno belt instead. And for the legs, they also went with the accent panel slimline. I kind of prefer to go with the no genesis. Once we get into the game, it'll make a bit more sense. Also, if you're not happy with the colors, don't worry, we will be able to change the colors once we get into the game. It'll make a bit more sense in just a minute. And for the feet, they went with the tall clean trim. So we've pretty much customized the appearance of our Superman type character. So we're almost good to go, now we need a name. Obviously, if you try to use names like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, those names are invalid. And of course, a name like Red Sun is already taken. So finding something that kinda looks like Superman, that will be a bit challenging. Let's go with a Super Mask. Yeah, Superman doesn't wear a mask, but what can you do? It's only for this tutorial anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we're pretty much done with our Superman character, so let us play right now. So at character creation, you can skip to combat rating 333. If I recall correctly, it costs you $50 to do that. Or you could skip to level 25, that one costs $10 if I recall correctly. We could decide to say no thanks, just play the game and start in the tutorial. We're not going to do that, let us skip the tutorial. And again, skip the cinematics. Again, I love those cinematics, but for the purpose of those videos, not really useful. Also right now, we still have the gifts from the Extra Life event. So if you create the new character right now, you will have a whole bunch of new stuff waiting for you. So our Superman character is almost there, but we may want to tweak the colors at least a little bit. So for the new Genesis pants, assume you guys were not too happy with the color picker, but once you do get in the game, you can still change the colors for your character. So let us go for red. And the red is not quite the red I want, so let's tweak that. Probably the same with the blue, oh yeah. And let's take a look at the yellow. There we go. So there we go, so we've created our Superman type character. But the character creation step in DC Universe Online is pretty much in two steps. First, there is the actual character creation at the start of the game. But then, as you play the game, you will gather more styles to customize the look of your character. And right now, we do have a Superman emblem that you can get in the game. Sadly, early on, you cannot go to the House of Legends. I think you have to reach level 9 in order to be able to go to the House of Legends. So we will need to use a different character. So once you do have access to the House of Legends, there is a few things you will be able to do. The first thing, go straight to your friend Tempest Reginot and purchase the Superman Anniversary Emblem as soon as you can, because sadly we only have until the end of the year in order to be able to purchase the emblem. So sadly by January 1st, 2024, the emblem will be gone, and who knows if or when it will come back. Once you have it with one of your characters, then you will have access to the emblem with every single characters on your account. So just make sure to purchase it on at least one character, and then your whole account will have access to the emblem. So once you do that, you will have your official Superman emblem for your Superman character. Also, you may notice, I did change the belt of my character. If you come and see your friend Dr. Fate in the House of Legends, you will be able to get the Stalwart Defender style, which is pretty much an official Superman style in the game. So let us purchase the chest piece. As you saw, we already had the belt, so no need to purchase that. Let us purchase the pants and the boots. Let us consume that. It does give us a feat for collecting the whole style, but also the Stalwart Defender chest piece will give you a bigger Superman emblem. Although the accent panel works well enough, it's just that your emblem is a bit smaller. So you saw the belt, the pants, so let's change the pants a bit. And there's also the boots that are only one color. And for the belt, there is a belt that works a little bit better than that. So if we go to tier 3 and 4, you can see the Earth 3 Gotham. The Earth 3 DLC seems to require a combat rating of 150 or more. So odds are you need combat rating 150 to gain access to the Earth 3 open world map. So once you do, go see your friend the Earth 3 equipment supplier. And here you will be able to purchase the Johnny Quick gear. So let us purchase the belt. So let's consume the belt. Doesn't matter if we select DPS or tank, the item level is 182, we're not going to use that belt. All we want is the style. So now that we do have the style, then we can equip the quick suit style. Let's tweak the colors a bit. As far as I can recall, it's pretty much the closest option we have to the classic Superman belt. So it's not perfect, but it does give us a pretty classic version of our friend Superman. Oh, but there's one more thing we didn't look at, the cape. If you go see your friend Metamorpho in the House of Legends, you will be able to purchase the House of El War suit from our friend Metamorpho, and that is the cape you need for your friend Superman. If somehow you can no longer get the Superman emblem, I guess you could decide to use the House of El chest piece. It does have the biggest Superman emblem in the game. Sadly, as you can see, it is a pretty bulky suit of armor. Let me switch to another character. So it does give us the biggest Superman emblem in the game, but it is a bulky suit of armor. So the better option right now is pretty much to use the Stalwart Defender chest to get a somewhat bigger Superman emblem. Although I kinda like to use the Battle Damage Slimline, even if it does give me a smaller Superman emblem. And sadly, the elephant in the room, the BVS Superman emblem and the Superman hairstyle. Let's talk about those. And sadly, the BVS Superman emblem was available only for a short while in the game. It was available for roughly 1 month on the marketplace when we did get the BVS movie in theaters way back when. Sadly, at this point, this emblem is no longer available. So if someone offers you to sell you or trade you this emblem, they're lying to you. This emblem is no longer available and it was account bound, so you cannot trade it anyway. And for the hairstyle, this is the 6th dimension Kryptonian hairstyle, which sadly was only available during survival mode. And sadly we did not get the survival mode this year, so you will have to wait until next year probably to get the hairstyle. And I'm sure I'll get a question or two about the armory. Basically this is the Stalwart Defender style with the blue metallic material and the red metallic material. In the new 52 Superman style was supposed to be some sort of a Kryptonian armor, and I thought the blue metallic material really sold the idea that this was some sort of a Kryptonian armor, so I had to use it with one of my armories. I had no choice. If somehow you don't have access to the Superman emblem anymore, don't worry, there are other options. At this point we have a whole bunch of Superman emblem that could allow you to create even more versions of Superman, like in this case Superman Prime, or Superman 1 million, Sunshine Superman, Chinese Superman, or even the evil Superman from Earth X, or even the amalgam version of Superman, or any other version of Superman. The sky is the limit. So as I mentioned earlier, the character creation in DC Universe Online is in 2 steps. So the first step is the actual character creation when you do start playing the game. But then as you play the game, you will gain more styles. So as you play the game and gather more and more styles, not only could you recreate the classic version of our friend Superman, you could also recreate the evil version of Trigon Superman. You decide. So customize your character will pretty much be an ongoing process as they add more and more styles to DC Universe Online. And for the powers of your Superman character, you will have access to various powers to try to mimic the powers that our friend Superman has. So like Freeze Breath, Heat Vision, and more. So you will have some flying powers for your Superman character if you want to. You will have powers like Freeze Breath, Heat heat vision. You will also have some powers to mimic having super strength, but I did mention earlier how some people use the earth power to mimic having super strength. Let us go to another one of our characters. So you can use powers like localize a tremor, jackhammer, shards, or even earthquake to mimic having super strength. So those powers will give the illusion that you're using super strength to punch the ground, or even repeatedly punch the ground, or strike the ground with your foot as if you're breaking the ground. So Earth will provide you with a few abilities that sort of fake out having super strength. Obviously the most popular one is Jackhammer. But there's also the Earthquake Supercharge. That sort of kind of work. Although we do have an actual super strength iconic power, but all it really does, it does allow you to pick up cars in the game, or in this case here, it allows you to pick the tanker truck, and obviously throw it and use it as a weapon. So this is the real use of a super strength in this universal line. So you can pick up cars, trucks, and use those as weapons. They don't do that much damage, but it can be used. So picking up cars and throwing them around, I have to admit, that is kind of fun. Although, even if you pick up super strength, there are some cars that you are not going to be able to pick up. Like you can see most cars in Dakota City, you cannot pick up those cars. But if you do see a moving car, that one should do. You can pick up the moving cars, but you cannot pick up the cars that are on the side of the road. It's sad, but that's how it is. So there you go, guys. So you can pretty much create your friend Superman right at character creation. So you can just select the preset Superman and use that if you want to. Or you could tweak it, again, straight at character creation. You can start tweaking it if you want to. But as you play the game and as you gather more and more styles, you will be able to customize the look of your Superman character as you play the game. And of course, again, as soon as you get the chance, go to the House of Legends, purchase the Superman emblem from our friend Tempe Shizunat, just to make sure that you don't miss out. Again, you only need to purchase it for one character. Afterwards, you will be able to use it for every single characters on your account.